Hey, what's good, y'all? It is me, the king of back to spitting hard bars for y'all on this fine Monday morning. But if it's not Monday, then fuck you. I'm just kidding, I need y'all. Please don't write a mean comment about how I look like Sykes from Shark Tale. Alright, I think it's fair to rehearse this again. Hello, my name is Chris. I've been bit by a radioactive scoozy. For the last 19 years, I thought I was the only existing Sillyrally.
I'm editing a video.
Y'all already know what I did. I made a video about Chick-fil-A, I defended pineapple on pizza, I made that video about how much I love John Carpenter's Halloween, and that's it. Alright, but enough with the fucking jokes. Let's get to the cream of the crop. Have you ever read comic books? Personally, no, not that much. I never really had the motivation to go out of my way to purchase a comic book to read. The only things that I read were graphic novels that you can get at your local library. Y'all niggas know I love me some Jeff Smith's Bone. But have you ever watched a show or a movie that got you into a comic book series? Fuck yeah, baby! Hell, one of my best friends got into the Scott Pilgrim series because of the Scott Pilgrim movie.
What it do, baby? What it do? My name is Smeef and I like Scott Pilgrim and I'm gay and I like men and I like boys. Oh, please get this dick out my ass.
At this point, this nigga Smeef might as well become a fucking gag to every single video I upload, I swear to God, bro. But what's strange about the world of comic book movies or even just comic book shows in general is that most of them are fucking dog shit. Take the Fantastic Four movies as an example. Studios that produce movies from a comic book series never double check their sources. They cannot encapsulate the true essence of the character and it ends up sloppy. Such a lackluster mess. Who the fuck hires Miles Teller to be Mr. Fantastic? Like, get the fuck up out of here. That's why we look at Spider-Man, the animated series, or known as Spider-Man 90, made by Marvel Films Animation. Just to get this out of the way, some of the writers behind the project were not aware of the origin of Spider-Man and mostly focused on the relationship aspect of the story, which fits very well with the characters of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Just like Batman and Bruce Wayne, two different personas, and when there's two different personas, people will have different opinions of those said personas. Aunt May loves Peter Parker, but is afraid of Spider-Man. The Kingpin hates Spider-Man, but is a mutual with Peter Parker. It's such a good thing that this has become a very common Spider-Man trope in most modern Spider-Man films or shows. The show introduced brand new ideas to bring in the world of Spider-Man. However, there are a lot of aspects from the comic books that make the show an actual comic adaptation. Here's the thing, this show was aired on Fox Kids, and you know what that means? Censorship. That means you can't punch, say blood, you can't say sinister, and you can't use guns and other, stuff. If it would have been the censorship, I feel like this show would have been very phenomenal. It truly would have been the real comic adaptation. But at the same time, I feel like with the censorship, they would have not kept some of the characteristics of Peter Parker and Spider-Man from the show, instead of copy and paste their characteristics from the comic book series. And I can live with Morbius saying plasma instead of blood, and I can live with cops using laser guns instead of actual guns, because at the end of the day, y'all understand the bigger picture. One thing for sure, lots of people critique this show for reusing its animation and for its censorship. Now, I can understand why everyone is on this case, but is it really that important? I don't watch a 90s cartoon just to look at the production quality, but rather the story itself, and I feel like that's something people should do. Yeah, I noticed they reused some animations from previous episodes, but again, does it really matter? No. As for the censorship thing, I think that the only thing that I find that holds back the story is Mary Jane's disappearance, and for those who didn't know, originally Spider-Man's love was Gwen Stacy, not Mary Jane Watson, and for censorship reason, they had to alter the story for Mary Jane to fall into a portal from the top of the Brooklyn Bridge. Obviously, it was a metaphor for death, but to be honest, it was a kid's show. It was not going to end like that for sure. Lots of people love this show, and some people have love for other Spider-Man projects like Spectacular Spiderman. Speaking of Spectacular Spiderman, here's a hot take. I think that Spectacular Spiderman had much of an opportunity to put as much effort as they did with Spider-Man 90. You'll probably say, but Rally, Spectacular Spiderman has 2 seasons and Spider-Man 90 has 5 seasons. That is correct. However, I'm here to argue about how much content there is presented in these two shows. And one thing's for sure, Spider-Man 90 has so much content in the matter of 26 episodes. That's how many episodes there are in Spectacular Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, I love Spectacular Spider-Man, but I still prefer Spider-Man 90 because of how much content is presented in the matter of 26 episodes. And that's something Spectacular Spider-Man could have done, honestly. In the matter of 2 seasons, Spider-Man 90 introduced the Sinister Six, the Kingpin, Alistair Smythe, Venom and Eddie Brock, the Hobgoblin, Norman Osborn, the Chameleon, Kraven the Hunter, and much more. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 expanded much more to the Marvel Universe than exclusively to the Spider-Man universe. We had the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Dormammu, Doctor Doom, and etc. Oh yeah, the last 2 episodes introduced the Spider-Verse, which is something so amazing to showcase on a Spider-Man show from the 90s, and it's something that's never been done before. Just thinking about it, many Spider-Man projects look at Spider-Man 90 and use it as an inspiration to create their own original Spider-Man project. It's insane that Spider-Man 90, a show from 30 years ago, made much of an impact on many Spider-Man movies and shows. Into the Spider-Verse is a prime example of this. It cultivated the comic book art style of the comic book series. I believe that without this show, most Spider-Man projects would be less innovative. I also believe that as many Spider-Man projects as they create, they strive to become a better version of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which isn't a bad thing at all, but no Spider-Man puts so much raw emotion than any other Spider-Man character, and I mean a lot. Spider-Man in this show is so good. Voiced by Christopher Daniel Barnes. I've never seen Spider-Man try to convince you to believe that they are suffering so much pain, anger, and many forms of emotions. It just seems genuine.
Get back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
We'll get help. Warren! Warren, where the blazes are you?
Forget it, Tiger. He's gone. Oh, dear. Before I go, I want you to know just one thing. If any part of me is anything like the real Mary Jane Watson, she loves Peter Parker more than anything in the world. More than anything.
No! Mary Jane! Mary Jane!
What can I do to help?
Do? There's nothing to do. Benj can be anywhere. Do anything. All we can do is sit here and feel the pain of losing her.
I would say this is one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man in media. Well, speaking of raw emotion, here's one last thing I want to show you guys.
You know, for so long, I've thought that I never got any breaks. But now, after all I've been through, for once, I like my life. I like myself. And for the first time ever, I wouldn't want to change anything about me.
Gee, you're definitely not the same guy I've been writing about all these years.
Well, Stan, we all have to grow up sometime, I suppose. Even us, characters of fiction.
This right here is the reason why I love this show. Spider-Man shows how much he appreciates his life after all he's been through. He lost friends, made enemies, and lost the most important person of their life. Stan Lee acts so surprised to see Spider-Man, a character that he has created, act so much different than he is in his own comics. You see, Spider-Man in the original comics was just some mopey teenage kid who encountered so much stress in his life. And for Stan Lee to stand next to his own creation, it seemed like he was talking to a human being with emotions just like his. He was glad. All that stress, and Spider-Man still stays optimistic. And I think we can all learn a very valuable lesson from this here. And it's that life will get tough every day. You will encounter the worst moments in your life, but no other person in the world will do a better job of fixing your problem than you.
Sorry, I was just admiring the stars. You were saying?
I said, looking up at the sky on a night like this, it's easy to believe that we're not alone. I wonder what's out there.
That's exactly what I was wondering, too.
Mr. Slava. As usual.
How do you know who I am? And how do you know so much about me? I want some answers.
You will get them. Now, sit down.
If you want to join the Fantastic Four, you're in the wrong place. You won't say anything, will you?
No, but now you know what kind of trouble this costume attracts. I had the power and I didn't use it. I lost my uncle because I ignored my responsibilities.
Give up. That's funny. I give up too. I give up trying to be a friendly,
Neighborhood Spider-Man. Enjoy your fate while it lasts.
He's truly special.
Well, Madam Web, where to now?
Face front, true believer. We are going to find the real Mary J. Watson.
What?
It has been a long, hard journey, and I think you are finally entitled to some happiness.
Amen to that, dear lady. Amen to that.